Whew. Man, that was rough. Rough landing, and didn't want to start. I was like in the zone, and it kept boop up, and it wouldn't quite catch. So decided, hell, I'm getting tired, and the surf was getting a little bigger, so I just paddled out to the buoy so I could sit there, and after about 3 tries it started. Anyway, so I had cleaned out the carburetor a couple of weeks ago, tried to run it, set the idle, it wouldn't want to set right, ended up finding the fuel pump wasn't working properly. Apparently, having let it sit for a year with whatever fuel was still in the lines, carburetor usually dries out, but apparently fuel being left in the pump didn't help, and I think the diaphragms over time, they get stretched out anyway. So the amount of movement they have doesn't translate to as much fuel transfer. So anyway, now let's get going. Late start, about 40 minutes late from what I would have wanted. Whoa. Fly by over there. Lots of lobster buoys that got dropped off today, so I'm going like, oh great, makes it really fun for trolling. You gotta watch out for all the buoys, stay way away from them so you don't and consider your turn so that you don't snag a line as you're making a giant turn. Yeah, makes trolling not much fun for the next month. Sure has cooled down in the last few weeks. Hadn't been here, so I didn't realize so much. But shit, it definitely dropped about 5-6 degrees at least from the last time I was here. That's the stringers of kelp over here. Now trolling again. I got a big, pretty damn big. I threw a bigger one, a Spanish mac, but I got a big greenback, good size, probably about 12 inches. So I got him trolling around, looking for places, going all over where there's a lot of bait, right? It's just short of 100 feet, because I was in like 70 feet, and just too much kelp. They just set out lobster traps today, saw the boat going out, so kind of repositioning. I don't know how many were already here, but there's a lot of them, so yeah, not going to be fun trying to troll for the next few months in the shallow water. And already there's pieces of bull kelp that have been torn up that are floating in some places, so you got to again be very careful trying to see the troll anywhere. But as you see, there's a lot down there. Got a Rapala, the replacement for the one that my that Mako took from me, so just like same model. Anyway, but yeah, it's like 20 feet. You see some of that kelp coming right within there, and I don't want to end up shallower and get hung up on something. I got caught on a little bit of kelp earlier, but I got it out easy. But that's why you got to be careful. Is you can't just go automatically sometimes because there's just too much kelp. And or lobster buoys that you don't want to get too close to it again. Especially with a live mac, he's going to go search that line. Man, there's got to be something around there. Well, I'm not, that's right, I don't have the Rapala right now. There's a live mac in there. I was thinking the Rapala, and it goes down to 20 feet and I hit it. So this one is, I'm towing trolling him a little bit on the fast side just so he can't try to take off down and get into the kill. It's clearing up a little bit better than I thought it would. Again, everything else is okay except for the fishing part so far. I got bait. I made some giant, well, I let go a huge Spanish mag. I got 3 good sized ones. So there's 3 in there. Let go a couple more. We'll see. Shouldn't have been. I guess it was the tension of being towed. We're still trolling. Looking around, trying to make sure we avoid buoys, because there's buoys out here. And there are signs of bait and stuff, bait. Just haven't got anything right. I mean, no calicos, nothing. When I was trolling the Rapala through these areas in here before, and then I decided to go, okay, when I had passed a bunch of areas where I needed to see bait, I decided, okay, let's go back and make some bait. Not getting any reaction on the trolling, so went back and started making max, and they were kind of big, Spanish, but big. So I kept some that were okay. They looked like about 9-10 inches long or so. I said, okay, that's about right. Okay, not too big. But then I got one that was like about 13. I go, whoa, that was huge for a Spanish. Threw him back. Then I get a 12-inch greenback, so I kept him, and I got him on right now. It's still 10. So anyway, I'm trolling him around 4 to 5 miles an hour because I can't get this thing to idle down lower yet. Still not wanting to idle perfect. I don't know why. It gets down and it says all that, but it's just the idle is not the best. Not low enough, smooth enough. It just idles for a little while, and then all of a sudden it'll start to drop. It's just weird. You know, the linkage is all down and everything. I had tried to adjust the tiller adjustments to make sure I could get as much full throttle as possible. There was a tiny bit of off. I readjusted it, but I don't think that really had affected it, because I made sure that when it's released, there is no tension on the throttle. It's the spring returning the carburetor to its normal spot. Slight little linkage play so that it doesn't pull back. But anyway, for some reason, it's still not wanting to just idle really just right at the lowest spec. So I'm gonna have to check out that carb again. I cleaned it up, carburetor cleaner, sprayed it through the, didn't use pressurized air, but shouldn't have had to. The jets are so visible, so easy to see that it shouldn't really be an issue with it. Not sure why the idle is an issue. I have to check it out some more. Fuel pump sure took care of the problem of it stalling, not wanting to run. When I was trying to figure out the idle problem, I could see that all of a sudden be running, and then all of a sudden you see the little fuel filter not quite as full. I go, what? The pump was just, unless the engine was running higher, it just wasn't pumping well enough. So replace that pump, and it seems to be okay, but it a couple of half-day boats out here. Target other species. Try to make sure we take the fishermen on the fish. So we're looking for calicos, that kind of stuff. I don't know where they keep seeing all these reports of bonito. I haven't caught a bonito in the last couple of trips. Different all sorts of reports of bonitos out here. Not that I want any. They're paying the button because they keep taking like some BT9 or whatever. When I was 14, I used to catch a bonito. Not so good. After you catch all the bigger stuff, tunas and yellowtail. heat and not so hot. I mean, it's just a fight on light here, but there's another one. I'm not sure which one that one is. Must be the new seaport. Seems like a blue tarpon down there. I'm not sure what that is. Can't tell by the name. I'm trying to see read the name on the bow. That's what I say. It looks like it's a white doesn't it? What the name is. If I get closer, I'll see. Not to worry, but again, it's you go over good marks, nothing. There just hasn't been anything hitting. There's bait jumping in a few places or whatever, so it's weird when I was trolling that couldn't get one. And I've been trolling these big old bass, so definitely would attract something but large. Keep going around in a circle, trying to just find the spot. Anchor or something. The best spot. Again, all I've seen is a bunch of the areas of bait. Delta Pride? I hadn't seen that before. Or Dana Pride. Still trolling around, trying to move, but it's getting rough. You can see the water surface is a lot rougher. It's picking up. I know. I've been down here a couple of times, and the farther down here, the worse it is. See, look at the big old. Last time I was down here, or the first time I was down here, I thought, okay, I'll try a haul ass on the way back. It is not easy. It is not easy with all the different angles to go too fast. So anyway, so I've done here twice and gone slow. Weave between the buoys here, trying to keep it in the 70, 65 to 75, 85 feet area, because that's where there's a lot of bait, but it's not turning into anything else. And then a lot of these boats are farther out, and they're just sitting in the deeper spot. They're probably fishing for rockfish. But yeah, that just seems to be the only thing. I just haven't seen any action, anything else. Not a bunch of bait jumping. I mean, there's bait, and there was a little bit breaking the surface, but nothing like, creating a commotion anyway. I don't know. It's just nothing else really attracting. Lots of buoys here to avoid. Shallow, but again, that's the only areas where there seems to be signs of bait, so I was trying to come in closer. Not easy. See, just not turning into anything. I've even seen marks where it looked like it came up, to check out the solo or something, you know, so whatever it is, 1 or 2 fish come up and then they go back down. But nothing, not a hit at all. Keep trolling here. And trolling back and forth. All over 92 feet here. But I've been going all the way from 65 to 85, 90 feet, 100 feet. Trolling Papalas early today, and I've been trolling this giant greenback for, I don't know, more than an hour. A couple hours maybe? I don't know. Hour and a half something. Still okay. I haven't drowned them. Try to keep it below 5 miles an hour. I can't get it to idle too slow, so about 4 is about as slow as it would go, and then also speed up a little. Depends on current. But he seems to be okay. But he hasn't attracted anything. Even going over all those things with all the fish parks and all the bait areas around the kelp. Most of that was around, oh, not quite Wind and Sea, but like from the children's pool on down to Wind and Sea area. There's the Raddick area, the bait there, and a lot of and kelp all around the 65, 75 feet mark. There's a lot of that. So you can look around. There's a lot of buoys today, so it's a lot of weaving in and out and trying to make sure your lure isn't so far back. It might hook one on a kind of clearing up a little bit. It's sort of moving. Looks like the marine layer is getting pushed slightly off, but it's still hanging right at the beach. It is 11:20 right now. So I don't know if it's been rough for over an hour and a half maybe. I knew the wind was going to pick up, and according to the forecast, it looked like it was going to get kind of nasty. They were talking about 10-mile-an-hour winds by 11, which is just now or past it, and it has picked up and it's rougher. But yeah, there's a storm coming and a heck of a lot higher winds up where I live in the mountains. So I wanted to hurry up and get the heck out of here, beat the traffic, and at the same time try to get up to my house before we start having those 45, 50-mile-an-hour winds. Like to be all unloaded, but it would have been great to have a nice yellowtail on the bag. I could always put it on ice and then play it tomorrow, but I need to land one first to do that. In a while. All right. Getting ready to start hitting in, I guess. It is 12, well, like 5 after. But I figured about 12:15 I'd hit in. That way I can land with the tide going out, so I don't have to fight the water trying to keep pushing the solo up and end up with more beach. And I don't know, hard to say how many people will be there today. It never did clear out, but hey, we still see tourists galore there some days. They go out on days that we wouldn't go out. The tourists, of course, yeah, kayak company, hey, any place that's trying to make money, they don't give up. It's about the money, number one. Yep, but no, nothing fighting here. I still got that big giant greenback. He's out there swimming around trolling, and seals trying to get him here. I wound him up faster than heck because he was a younger seal. Again, those seals are not as experienced as the older ones used to be. They would steal our bait all the time. Now you get lucky half the time, more than half the time you can save it. You can get it out of it, away from them. Anyway, another day. It's fishing. It's not catching. All right. Till the next La Jolla visit.